Thank you very much, Anya, and kia ora, everyone. And like Anya said, today I'm going to talk about the behaviour and training industry. So this industry is currently unregulated in New Zealand, which means that unfortunately, absolutely anybody can label themselves a professional. And this means whether or not they've got any knowledge, experience, or qualifications in the area. Now, training methods vary widely by these professionals, and because there's no regulation in the industry, it means that unfortunately some of these methods that may be used can actually cause the animals harm. So many methods that are marketed as being modern training techniques or kind to animals are in fact aversive. And aversive methods employ things that the animal doesn't like in order to try and change behaviour. So obvious examples of these can be choke chains and shock collars, but some methods can be more discreet because simply anything that causes fear or avoidance in an individual is an aversive. It's also really important to remember that each animal is an individual, and what simply might be an annoyance for one animal could be devastating or traumatizing for another. It all depends on that animal's personal experiences and sensitivities. So when we talk scientifically about behaviour, the word positive simply means the addition of something, but this is often misunderstood. So this figure on the right shows the quadrants of behaviour. And whenever we perform a behaviour, the consequence that follows that behaviour fits into these categories. This isn't straightforward. It can either be reward-based though, or aversive-based. Now, the only true reward-based training method is shown in green here, and that's positive reinforcement. An obvious example of positive reinforcement is providing a food treat to a dog when it sits. Negative reinforcement, along with negative punishment and positive punishment, are all aversive-based. Positive punishment would be, for example, the application of pressure on a dog's neck when it pulls on the leash. Negative reinforcement would be the removal of that pressure, the aversive, on the dog's neck when it doesn't pull on the leash. And an example of negative punishment would be the removal of, say, your shoe from the dog's mouth if it chews it. Now, we don't have time to discuss all of these in detail, but I would just like to point out that positive punishment and negative reinforcement are essentially the same, because in order to negatively reinforce a behaviour, you actually have to remove an aversive that you typically administered in the first place. But it would be hypocritical and naive to say that every single interaction we have with an animal is reward-based. But of course, we can aim towards a good life. Now, CANZ promotes LEMA, the use of least intrusive, minimally aversive techniques, and the humane hierarchy of behaviour change that Erin just mentioned before. So this image is a slightly different image, but showing the humane hierarchy, and it's showing that we should aim to take the path of least aversive interactions with animals when dealing with modifying their behaviour, and that our options should be viewed as a hierarchy. If at first we don't succeed, we should try many other ways and only then resort to aversives. It's easier for people to resort to aversives, but they're a quick fix and they don't get to the bottom of the problem, to the root. And it's been scientifically proven to not be conducive to animal welfare or to the human-animal relationship. So research has shown that aversives can increase problematic behaviours, can result in stress and fear behaviour, result in fewer play behaviours in animals, and a higher risk of aggression towards the handler. They also lead to desensitization and fallout of behaviours. So in 2019, CANZ conducted an online survey to investigate industry opinion and readiness for a voluntary national accreditation scheme, just in the area of animal behaviour and training. So it was sent to a variety of professionals, and 483 self-identified professionals responded. Now, only 262 responses were analysed because we were looking at individuals who currently offered a behaviour service. And you can see on this simple pie chart that 63% of these were interested in voluntary accreditation. If you're interested in hearing more or reading more about this study, then you can see the full results of the study published in an open access journal, so free to everybody online, and the journal's called Animals. So as a result of that research, we launched CANZ Accreditation in 2020 to identify and promote those that work in ways that advance animal welfare. Now, I just want to point out that CANZ actually accredits organisations, not individuals, and it's accrediting those organisations that have got formal processes in place to accredit their own members for the use of humane ethical training methods, and those that have a proven understanding of animal learning theory and its application. So far, APDT-NZ, IAABC, and PPAB have successfully gained CANZ accreditation. Now, these people here, hopefully you can see them, have gained CANZ accreditation through those accredited organisations. And you can find out more about this on the CANZ website. It's a fledgling programme, and we're just starting to build it. So the more people we get, the more successful we will be. You've just heard Erin Jones's talk before this one, and Erin was the first person in New Zealand to gain CANZ accreditation as an accredited animal behaviour consultant. So well done, Erin. So just on a quick side note, it's important to mention that humans are really poor at reading animal behaviour. And as a result, that can result in compromised animal welfare. And this is another reason why we should be recognising professionals that are skilled at this. So this figure on the left shows the canine ladder of communication. And it shows that dogs communicate with us if they're feeling uncomfortable in any situation. But often it's ignored by humans due to behaviours being very discreet, such as yawning, blinking, nose licking. If, however, their communication is ignored, then the behaviours that they display to try and communicate with us will travel up the ladder, eventually resulting in a more obvious form of communication, such as a snap or a bite. It's worth pointing out, though, that all of these behaviours are normal, and dogs should never be punished for interacting and trying to communicate with us in these ways. If we punish those behaviours, then they'll stop trying to communicate, and then we really won't see the signs before a bite. So CANZ are currently in discussion with other organisations who are working towards developing their own in-house processes to enable them to obtain CANZ accreditation in the future. And from the research that we carried out, it is worth pointing out that 91% of vets and vet nurses that were not currently offering behaviour services supported recognition of behaviour professionals with accreditation. And also that a vet behaviour standard has now received 100% backing from the Veterinary Behaviour chapter of ANZ CVS, who are hoping to be eligible for CANZ accreditation in the future. So we need behaviour professionals who believe in these principles to support us and spread the word. Are you a behaviour professional? Then please get CANZ accredited. Do you utilise behaviour professionals? Please use CANZ accredited ones. Do you refer to behaviour professionals? Refer to CANZ accredited ones. Thank you very much for having me and listening to this talk, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Wonderful. Thanks, Lindsay. Such a great talk. Excellent to hear with the state of play with the CANZ accreditation. We've got some questions in. We've only got time for one. Erin, what direction do you feel local dog clubs should take regarding training or accrediting their dog trainers?
So local dog clubs, you've got 3 different options, obviously, or accredited organisations. The New Zealand accredited organisation is APDT-NZ. So I would first start off by looking at the website, look at the CANZ accreditation website, then look at APDT-NZ, and basically look at the criteria that is needed to meet that accreditation through that organisation. Each of the 3 organisations have different requirements. So there's lots of different pathways. So this isn't just about qualifications that you have, it's about experience, knowledge, understanding. And CANZ accreditation was developed specifically for catering for a variety of those things, so that there's lots of different pathways.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation.